Hey, this is Richard here with Rebel's Edge Armory, and one of the questions we've been getting a lot lately from a lot of new AR-15 gun owners is, what is the proper way for me to clean this rifle? So today I'm going to walk you through that process. All right, we're going to get started cleaning this thing. What I like to do personally is to break this thing into two pieces by separating the upper from the lower. It just makes it a little bit easier to manage as I kind of go through the process and get the cleaning portion done. So first thing, of course, what we're going to do is go ahead and make sure the weapon is safe. Pull the charging handle back. It's a new weapon, so it should be pretty easiest for us. But we're still going to visually and physically inspect the chamber, make sure it's empty, and it is. So you like the bowl right home. So like I said, I like to break it into two pieces. You can start by just pushing this back pin. If you push from this side, you'll be able to pull it out over here pretty easily. And then you'll be able to open it up like this. Basically what you'll be able to do is just go ahead and just pull this charging handle out, and the BCG will pull out, and then the charging handle will drop down and pull out as well. To separate it completely, just same thing on this front piece right here, this front pin. If you'll just push it in from the back, sometimes it can be a little hard to go, so you just rock this back a little bit, you'll see it popped up. So I can pull it out, and now we can separate that upper and that lower. Like I said, it just makes it a little bit easier to deal with the two pieces while they're separated. All right, now that we have the upper and the lower separated from each other, we can go ahead and get started here. Personally, I like to start with the lower. It's just pretty simple and easy and straightforward, and I like to get that out of the way. The upper tends to take quite a bit more time. So what I'll do is, the first thing I like to do is just go ahead and take the buffer and the spring out. If you see right here, hopefully I can get that where you can see it, there is a little pin that's called the buffer retaining pin. So what you'll want to do is just go ahead and just push in on the buffer, and then you can push that retainer down and it will release the buffer and the spring out. And so this is your buffer and your spring. Next thing I do is I want to release the hammer so that I have access to the trigger and the disconnector and all those internal parts in here. So what we want to do is just put the gun in the firing position, push down on the hammer just a little bit and pull the trigger, and then slowly just release this hammer up. Now, what I have seen happen many times is people will just pull the trigger and let this hammer fly up and hit the frame. And every time I see that, I get a deep desire to slap the shit out of them, because this hammer is under enough tension from this spring that if you just let it fly forward and hit the frame, you can actually fracture the lower between the trigger pocket and the magazine pocket right in the middle there, and it will pretty much render your gun useless at that point. So don't do that. All right, so I'm gonna get started cleaning. Just like to mention, for all the trolls out there, I'm not here to really endorse what kind of cleaner you use or anything like that. I recommend that you do your own homework and find out what your preferences are and works best for you and the uses that you use. There's all kinds of stuff out there. There's, COP, there's this breakthrough, there's rim oil, there's all kinds of stuff out there. So like I said, do your homework and use hops. That's another good one. Whatever. But whatever your preference is, then that's what I recommend you use. So just come in here and hit this little cleaner in here. I like to get that trigger and that buffer tube really good. You'll get a lot of buildup in your buffer tube a lot of times. Same thing with the buffer and the spring. Just go ahead and hit it. I'll just kind of leave my lower to sit for a few minutes while I do this. But I'll start with the buffer and the spring, just making sure that I get it nice and clean. once I do that, I'll just hit it with a little oil so it's ready to go back in when I'm ready. Again, you don't want to soak it down too much, just want a little bit of lubrication on there. So set that over here to the side. A couple things that I like to use, this like cool little dental brush, but it's really good for getting into this little tight spots in the trigger and knocking everything loose. You just want to scrub around in this area really good and get as much of that stuff out as you can. Now, usually what I'll do is I'll get in here, scrub all this out really well. Then I'll come in, hit it again, and just break everything loose. Just kind of let it sit for maybe a minute or two, and then I will start the process of coming back and just kind of wiping everything down. So a lot of people will come right behind this and spray it with oil or whatever. I don't like to do that because remember that the solvents that you use most of the time, they're supposed to remove all that carbon and all that stuff out of there, but also strips all the oil out of your gun. So what you want to do is just give that a little time to just kind of dry out. And then before we assemble this back together, we'll just hit this with a little shot of oil and make it ready to go. So that's what I like to do for that. For cleaning the buffer tube out, I'll use this little 12 gauge soft cleaner, and it works really well for just getting in here and cleaning all of that stuff out really well. And then again, you know, like I say, when I come back in, I'll just hit a little shot of oil here, I'll shoot a little bit in there, and then we are ready to go. So it's nice and dry in here. Go ahead and hit this with a little oil. And then we're just gonna basically do this in reverse order. So we will take the hammer and push that hammer down. You wanna wait for that click. Just be sure and keep your pressure on this as you release it back to make sure that that trigger has re-engaged this hammer and locked it into position. From there, you can reinsert the spring and the buffer. And if you notice, there's kind of like some flat sides on it. You want one of those flat sides down, so when you push it in, it'll push past that back past that retaining pin right there. So, all right, so we're done with the lower for now, and we'll just set that aside. Okay, next we're gonna get started on the upper. The upper is a little bit more detail oriented, a little bit more complicated, and that's why I kind of save that for last. It takes a little bit more patience to get in here and do this the right way. So again, what I'll do is come through here. I like to just go ahead and hit this real heavy with my cleaner so that it has time to get in there and kind of do its job before I go scrubbing around on it. Typically what I'll do once I spray that down is start working on the bolt carrier group. There's a lot of opinions on about how far you need to take this down whenever you clean it, and so I'm going to show you how to break it down for just basic cleaning, and then I'll also show you how to just take it all the way down for whenever you've been really hitting it around, like you're out there on the range putting hundreds of rounds to it. You probably want to take it to the next step. So we'll just go ahead and we're going to release this pin. This pin right here, this is called the fire pin retaining. It's the retaining pin for the firing pin. So basically you can just, it comes up really easy. Like I said, just use this, and I was able to pull it out like that. So you will pull that fire retaining pin out, and then what should happen is your firing pin should drop out. And then you'll see right here, this little square head piece is called the cam pin. And so what you'll want to do is just push this forward and spin it sideways, and that cam pin should slide out like that. Once that cam pin's out, then you can go ahead and take the bolt itself out. This piece itself is the bolt. These are the gas or the bolt gas rings right here. Really important to kind of make sure those are nice and clean before you put this back together. Now, if you're just doing a basic cleaning, for me, this is about as far as you would need to go. But like I said, if you're out there just hitting it hard and you've got several hundred rounds through it, you may want to take this to the next step. And what we're going to do is basically separate the extractor away from the bolt. The way that you do that is, I'll actually grab a little bit smaller. So I'll just take this and we're going to push down on the top right here, and then just push down on the extractor and push in on the retaining pin here. And then this will separate. So what you'll see is this allows you to get in here to this extractor channel and really get that bolt cleaned out really good. So once I have all those taken apart, I like to just go ahead and again, I'll hit this with my cleaner inside the carrier, especially like right in here. You're gonna get a lot of carbon buildup. Hit the bolt again, hit that channel really good, and the firing pin. Again, we'll just get in here and just get these all clean. You'll notice on the firing pin, like right here in this area, you'll get a lot of buildup, and on the head right here. So really important to just kind of get that all wiped off and clean. This is the one part that once you get it stripped down, don't put oil on this. The number one thing that will kill your ammunition is oil getting into the primer, and it will disable the primer. So this just stays nice and clean. Again, we're just going to get in here, wipe everything off. This isn't like it's a new gun, so it's not going to be dirty or anything, but again, just kind of showing you the best route to take. Get in, clean these channels out really good. One of the things that I'll do is I'll use a 40 cal, one of the copper barrel brushes, and get down in here and just kind of clean this channel out really good, and break all of it, because you'll get a lot of buildup right inside of here. And then also again right here, I like to use these little Q-tip cleaner things. You spray it down with your stuff really good. You can get in there and just clean really good and back that out. Same thing for once you get in here. Once you're done, get in there, just kind of get all that residual cleaner out. Hit from this end as well. And like I said, like that 40 cal brush gets in here and it hits this, there's a wall kind of between the two sides here. And that 40 cal will get in there and just, oops, and just kind of break that all apart right in here. Just get in there, give it a couple twirls, hit it with your spray again, and then go back in there and clean it out real good. Same thing with the bolt itself. I'll just get in here and clean out all of this the best that I can. I'll get this nice and tight, and wet, and then you can go in from the front side here, clean that channel out and pull it out. And then what we'll do is we will clean this all up. Okay, once I have all these parts cleaned off really good, I will go ahead and start reassembling my BCG. Like I said, everybody has their preference on oil and stuff like that. But what I'll do is just get in here and just really make sure that this bolt gets lubed up real good. I've seen somebody use spray and stuff like that, which is fine. You can just kind of hit it with a couple of shots on the outside, just kind of let it sit. Same thing for your actual bolt. Again, double check those rings, make sure those rings are clean. So once I get all these rubbed down with a little bit of oil, we can go ahead and start the assembly piece back over. So basically we're gonna just do this in reverse order. So we're gonna take the extractor and drop it back in the bolt. And you'll notice like right here how this is kind of lifted up a little bit. To get this pin back in, you can kind of push it in until it won't go anymore. And then if you push this down, it will drop back into where it's supposed to be. And then you'll notice that this pin, it's really easy to push back through. It just really needs to, you'll see on either side, it needs to be this space the same. Kind of has like a half moon look to it right in here, this little channel when it's in the right position. All right, so it's important to know about the bolt is that this hole right here on one side, it's going to be a little bit larger than the other. So when you go to put your cam pin in, if you notice that's not working, give it a rotate over and try the other side. So we'll go ahead and pop this in. We'll line that hole up. And once you get it in this channel right here, you'll be able to kind of turn it and see that one hole appears to be a little bit bigger than the other. Again, like I said, if it doesn't happen for you right away, then you just need to roll that over and try the other side there. Trying to do it for you makes it hard to do it for me. So you'll see that drop back in. So what we want to do is just go ahead and pull the bolt back into the carrier like this, and then you'll give this a little half turn so that that cam pin is sitting just like this. This carrier key right here, you want it to be kind of horizontal to that. From there, we can go ahead and drop our firing pin back in. Make sure that you push it all the way in. And then you can put the firing retaining pin back in. And then we should be able to push that forward and see the head of the firing pin. And then just give this a little shake, and it should come back to this full position like that. And you are good to go on your BCG. Okay, again, so like I told you, this is kind of the part that'll take a little patience here. There's a lot of different ways to tackle this. I've been letting that soak for a little while now, so should be able to get in there and break that all up pretty quick and easy now. If you don't have one of these little handy dandy dudes, you might want to get it. This is specifically to clean that breech out and just make your life a lot easier. So we'll just take this and we'll run this in here. Give that a couple of passes back and forth. Really just kind of work it back and forth. You'll want, when you're done, you'll want to see that nice and clean like that. Sometimes you might have to do that, hit it with a little more spray, go back and do it a couple times until that kind of comes clean. Another area that you really want to make sure is the gas tube right here, right around that channel will build up a whole lot of carbon buildup, and it's a good place to really check. So, like I said, take our brush, get down in this channel, hit around the head of that gas tube. Really just kind of scrub it down really good. Making sure that all of this area is, nice and clean. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and come back and start wiping all of this down. And again, like I told you, man, these microfiber towels, they just really work really well. They work great for getting in here and getting stuff out and not leaving any material for you to deal with behind. And so, as you can see, it's all really nice and clean in there right now. There's nothing built up or blocking the channel, so just make sure it's nice and cleaned up. I always like to just put a little oil on my finger and hit the inside of the upper on these walls right here where the BCG is gonna touch, and then also the charging handle as well. I'm not putting a ton of oil on there. I'm basically just kind of coating those walls and everything. It is true that AR15s do like oil, but you can also over oil them, and then it mixes with that burnt gunpowder and can cause you malfunction problems. So it's best to just kind of keep it light. All right, and then, so I mentioned, that charging handle comes in contact with the inside of those, that channel. And so one of the things I'll do is I'll just, like I said, just give it a little light coat. And then we can go ahead and start to put this baby back together. So you'll see here on the charging handle, there's these two little keys right here. If you look down inside, probably about, it's just a little over a ½ inch in, you'll see the cutouts that match this. And so you can just simply slide this in and drop that handle in like that. I like to do it this way with the upper upside down. It makes me not have to fight the charging handle when I put the BCG in. And then we're gonna stick the BCG back in. So once you've got that in place, all you need to really do is just give it a push, and it'll drag this charging handle into its proper place. And so you just want to push it in until it locks into place. I like to go ahead and just shut the dust cover so I'm not fighting with it. And then just, again, I come back with a little bit of oil on the outside here. I'm not hitting it with anything crazy. Just making sure it's nice and clean, because sometimes that stripper will really pull it all out and it'll make the outside of the gun look kind of ashy and dirty when it's really not. It's just super dry. All right, and we can take this lower and we'll marry it back up with the upper. This is typically where I'll come back. I use a spray on my lower for oil. So I'll just come back and usually hit it with a little spray and get these parts nice and oiled up. Again, you don't want to put so much in here that it's dripping out. This is just basically to reduce a lot of friction between the parts in there. It's not, you don't want to gunk this all up with a bunch of burnt gunpowder and oil and everything. So just give it a light little spray across there. That's what I do. And then we can marry these back up. Your upper will drop right back on top of your lower like this. And you push the pivot pin in. Again, like sometimes you might have to rock it back and forth to get that all the way in. Then you can push the takedown pin in. And from there you are done. Again, as always, if you have any questions or you need anything from us over here at REA, we are always happy to answer those questions, especially when it comes to any warranty concerns or anything like that. We're always good about standing behind all the work that we do here, and we appreciate everybody's support. If you haven't already, please do us a solid. Go and like us on YouTube and all of our social media channels and help us spread the word about the products that we're bringing to market. And we really appreciate you checking this video out. If you have any questions or comments, hit us below, let us know.